Hello, one of the most frequently requested item for review in the comments on my channel, it is a different audio gear made by company iFi. iFi is pretty well known as a creator of really efficient audio solutions, both portable and desktop, and they offering a lot of interesting stuff. I didn't have a chance before that to review them, but recently I've got for review three interesting devices made by iFi. It is their adapter EMH, and but it's a matter of small video. It's really good and thing that is probably must have for all portable audio fan, but it's a matter of different video. And also I've got micro iDSD black label, and I've got their most recent and most unusual device. It's xDSD. xDSD is a high-res portable digital to analog converter with Bluetooth compatibility. So I've already repeated this idea many times, but our future is wireless, and we'll see more and more good devices with Bluetooth connectivity. iFi incorporated all their technologies. They really masters of high-end audio, and they really introduced a lot of interesting technologies here in the iFi, and they've created pretty good device. And what's the best thing about it, it's that they sold it for really affordable price. Its price, if I remember right, is $400, and for this money it's really worthy competitor. Package is done in typical for the company style. It's vertically oriented, made of white cardboard, and looks unusual and pretty stylish. They're using this style for almost all their products, and it's their signature feature. They highlighted all main features on the box, so they support really high resolutions, DSD 512 and PCM up to 768 kHz. I'm not sure are there any recordings with such quality, so probably main usage for this highest resolution will be if your source can upsample to these resolutions. Also they're using Brown PCM digital to analog converter 1793, if I remember right. The xDSD have USB and SPD inputs with aptX and AAC codecs support, and they have MQA. You have select between two firmwares, one with MQA support and second without, but the firmware without MQA support a bit more optimized for the high resolution, so it's just like attempt to squeeze the maximum possible quality by fine-tuning the internal work of the CPU and other schematics inside, optimizing for the necessary for you formats. I actually like MQA, for example with title streaming, so I'm using the MQA firmware. On the back side printed different technical specifications, all features highlighted. So the most interesting one, it's support actually it's high dynamic range, big range of volume adjustment, and pretty nice driving power. So as you can see here where it is. So for the 16 ohms they giving 500 milliwatts, for the 50 ohms 270 milliwatts, so even for 600 ohm high impedance it's 24 milliwatts, so it's enough to drive even pretty power hungry headphones. I will cover that a bit later. Inside there is pure white cardboard. So here is manual. I suggest you to read it really carefully, because it includes a lot of details about how everything works. So here is a pouch for carrying, warranty card, some additional information, digital to analog converter itself, and a set of accessories. With this xDSD you will have, let me open this box. So you will have USB 3 high quality cable. As you can see, it's unusual because they are using USB male connector so it simplifies usage with Apple Lightning to USB adapter with all the USB on the go adapters, so it's pretty convenient for the mobile usage. And same is done, for example, by xDuo and so on. So another cable to connect to your Mac or PC, two adapters to use with some third-party USB cables, adapter for the optical SPD, and nice self-gluing Velcro strips. So these strips you can attach, for example, here, because as you can see, body has ribbed surface, so you can attach it, I don't know, here, here, and here, for example, and this part you can glue to your iPhone or other source of digital source, and then you just connect them and they will provide really good secure fit of the digital converter to the source. So as you can see, accessory set is really nice. The only thing that you will miss, it's a micro USB cable. It's used for charging because they separate charge socket, and it's really beneficial for the sound. So it's data line and power line are separated. Design-wise, xDSD is really stylish. It's made of metal with interesting chrome finish, with this ribbed surface, but actually it gathers fingerprints pretty heavily during usage, but it can't spoil its perfect outlook and its perfect exterior. So you can use it stacked as with your some smartphone or another digital source, or you can use it as a desktop device and it will look pretty stylish on your desktop with your MacBook, for example. They have these small rubber feet that provide really good friction, so it won't fall easily from your desktop. It's really lightweight, so it's pretty portable. It's pretty thick, but still it remains pretty pocketable, so you can definitely use it. There are a lot of controls because iFi try to push here as much different features as possible. So here is headphone output. It supports balanced out, but it is 3.5mm out, so you should use 3.5mm jack with 4 poles to use balanced output. Or you can use a regular 3.5mm jack, device will switch automatically, there will be absolutely no problems with not balanced jack. There are two LED indicators, one will glow with different colors, showing you the input selected. Second one is showing signal resolution using different colors. This middle knob can be rotated. It also works as a LED indicator. I will show it a bit later. Also, it can be pressed to turn on and off, and also to select different inputs. There are two sound enhancers, 3D Plus and X-Bass Plus. So you can select one of them or both. With this button you can press it to select. Long press on this button will turn on pairing mode if you need it. On the back side there are optical and coaxial input, USB socket for charging with small LED indicator that will show you that you have to charge it. And also there is a filter selector between two positions, measure and listen. Measure provides totally flat frequency response, absolutely neutral and not colored, while listen has a bit coloration that actually increase your wow factor, giving you more effective sound, but I will cover this a bit later. So how to turn it on? You press this knob, it will glow, it will remember the last mode you've used. So if this indicator glows blue, then it is Bluetooth connection, so it's boot up in the Bluetooth mode, and it's actually connected to my it's connected to my iPhone. So I will start something with sound to indicate how it works. So as you can see, this LED starts glowing, indicating volume. So when you rotate it, it will change colors, indicating that volume increases. So it's changing tint and it looks really stylish. This device relies heavy, so you can press it to mute. It will glow, it will blink when it's muted, or you can unmute it. And using this button you can select this sound enhancing modes, so you can get any of them or them simultaneously. So it relies heavily on the internal CPU, so volume control is done via the CPU. And on the low volumes, what is really good about it, on the low volumes it includes internal schema similar to the iFi E match, so it will provide lower level of amplification and lower levels of noise. And I can say that indeed when it's used with sensitive IEMs via wired connection, you won't get absolutely no noise almost. Via wireless there are slight background noise, but actually it's heard when there is no sound signal transmitted. So when signal is transmitting, there is almost absolutely no noise either. So what else I can say about its controls? To switch inputs you have to press to turn it off, so it will glow white and then turn off. And to select another switch you have to turn it on and hold this button, and after some time it will change the color. So green one means that it's waiting for the USB connection. So it's a bit unusual way, but I think you won't be switching inputs too frequently, so you can select whatever you like quickly, and it will remember the last option that you've chosen. So here it's design, here it's controls. Pretty unusual, but very fun and very pleasant to use device. It looks really like some high-tech thing, and it's really worthy. It's a gadget that it's pleasant to have. It's actually I like its feel by touch. It fit nicely in hand, and it's pretty comfortable in everyday usage. And of course about the sound. First I've tried to use it as a wireless device, so I connected it via Bluetooth to my iPhone. Also I've tried Kane N5 second revision, they've recently added aptX codec. So also I tried with my MacBook Pro, so I've tried both AAC and aptX codecs, and you know it sounds really nicely. Testing some previous Bluetooth DAC, digital tonal converters, I've already come to the conclusion, at least for me, that of course when you connect it wirelessly you are losing some minor details in music, especially in the treble region, because both aptX and AAC are lossy codecs, so they're using lossy compression and you will lose some minor details, but actually I totally can live with it absolutely, especially if you are about 40 years old. Actually the older you are, the less you will notice that. So, and if you don't want to lose that details, you can use some brighter IEMs, for example. But anyway, I really like it, and what I particularly like about xDSD, it's how universal it is. It works really good with Campfire Audio Andromeda. There is a slight background noise, but it's really slight. I can't call it huge, so this spatial control chip probably doing its job. And I tried with new Hi-Fi Man Suswara, well, the most affordable model from Hi-Fi Man that cost $500. I always getting confused about their names. So despite being planar and a bit on power-hungry side of headphones, it drives them really nicely, and it's actually really nice pairing that I like, because that Hi-Fi Mans are pretty bright, and in the filter listen mode, actually xDSD has a bit hint of warmth, and it sounds really nicely with that headphones. So speaking about sound more detailed, I have also of course tried to connect it via the USB to unleash the full potential, and the difference wasn't really huge as I've expected previously, so it's a really good in wireless connection. But of course I have listened with wired connection to hear the best possible from this device, and I really enjoy it because it provides really, not super resolving, not some synthetic sound, without super accent on the details, but it's a bit on the warmer side of things, just a little bit, not too much, but just enough to provide this sense of good body. I actually became more and more a fan of this properly added worms, because really natural sounding sources are nice, but they are usually very critical to the quality of the recordings, and they are very critical to the headphone selection. But devices with a bit of added worms for me sound more natural, and they adding body to the instruments, and it sound for me more realistic, with more weight, with more presence. So I really enjoy such signature. So it's, of course, it's subjective things, but anyway, all audio reviews are subjective. So lows goes here pretty deep, especially if you turn on X Bass Plus. If you like it, it's really, if you like bass, this bass boost is pretty polite, but it really improves the body of low frequencies. It gives you more weight, more punch, so it sounds funnier, but I usually keep it off, so it's nice to have, but I don't use it. So resolution is on the faster side of things, but without losing weight, without losing this necessary layering, without losing this solidity of the lower frequencies. Mids are very musical, they are a bit on the smoother side. The xDSD doesn't go into, this super resolution, super resolving and super nitpicking, but it don't lose any details, so you will hear everything that is present. But it's from other hand, it won't be focused on some flaws in the recordings. It won't be focused on some issues with mastering quality and so on. So it's a pretty forgiving device. Not super forgiving, because of course it's really, it has normal resolution for that, but it's nice. Imaginary stage is a bit above average both in width and in depth, but for this particular thing you will have 3D plus option. It's kind of crossfit schema incorporated in the device, and it works pretty nicely with old recordings, because old recordings are often mastered for the speakers, not for the headphones absolutely, and on the headphones they sound poorly without normal staging, and this 3D Plus option came to the rescue in these circumstances. What else? Treble is a bit smooth too. I'm always saying smooth, but it's not smooth device. It's not super smooth device. It's just a small hint of those colorations. So I will repeat it. So once again, to put the proper accents. So treble is a bit smooth, so it's not harsh absolutely, even with some bright IEMs. I like bright IEMs sometimes. Even with bright IEMs, it's still on the reliable side of things. It has a bit faster decays that I consider natural, but besides that, treble is pretty nice. Layering is also average, but for this price tier, and for the portable device, I think it's also more than okay. Actually, via this switch you can main noticeable area where this switch is noticeable, it's upper treble. So when you toggle it to the measure position, you will have the most quantity of the upper treble, but switching to the listen, they will be a bit rolled off, and sometimes it's actually in vast majority of situations I prefer listen position, because in measure sometimes poor recordings sound really poorly, because a lot of modern recordings are tailored for the headphones that have rolled off after 10 kilohertz, and actually sound engineers don't bother for the proper treble mastering why master them properly if no one will hear them? So on the resolving IEMs with good extended treble, for example, IMR R1 for example, in the measure position you will hear how poor some recordings are, so I prefer to switch it to listen. It will roll off treble a little bit and it provides nice, really pleasant sound signature. Speaking about comparisons, I got only two devices that can be compared, so I've got only two high-end digital to-analog converters that have wireless connectivity. And unfortunately I don't have Mojo, and it's probably the closest competitor to this digital to analog converter, because it's the most popular and most discussed solution. And usually when somebody is speaking about xDSD, everyone remember Mojo, so I can't compare with Mojo. I've got Centron's Blue Duck and I've got FIO Q5 to compare. So both Centron's Blue Duck and FIO Q5 are actually pretty similar in terms of sonical representation, and in technical details they are also pretty close. They both are resolving, both are natural, and so sonically difference is pretty close. So while both Centron's and FIO are more resolving and natural, this one is a bit warmer and with better body, so it's different sound representation. So what do you prefer? More technical level, technical details, higher technical level, or higher level of engagement, higher level of probably emotions and so on. And also, of course, they have different set of features, really different. So xDSD has more digital inputs, has more supports higher resolution. It's the only device supporting MQA, and probably the most sophisticated in terms of control, and also it having this fun 3D plus and bass plus functions. But FIO is also pretty nice. It features replaceable amplifiers which can change sound. It's a nice feature to have. It has a longer lifetime, and it's more natural, and it has compatibility with all the FIO range of accessories, so it's pretty nice feature to have. And Centron's is the most resolving of all of those three. It's simplest in terms of design, but it's most resolving, most powerful, and most and best in driving power-hungry headphones, while actually those two are not much worse. So here was iFi xDSD, pretty new but fun device for those who like wireless connection but sometimes okay with going wired. It offers tons of interesting features, pretty good sound, and stylish, unusual, interesting design. Thank you for attention.